That's me taking a good, long, deep breath because holy cow, was that heart wrenching down the stretch. But you win, or you're in. And say you win, you're in. You draw 3-3 against the LA Galaxy on the road to wrap up the regular season, and it's enough to not only get you into the playoffs, but it's enough to solidify the 5 seed, which is huge, which means you go to Portland for the playoffs. What's up? My name is Jeremy Rushing. This is Post Loons following that 3-3 draw at LA Galaxy to wrap up the regular season for Minnesota United. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. If you could, hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment or question in the chat if you could as well. Also, if you're watching on the Twitter machine, make sure you like and retweet. It looks like I'm having some connection issues, guys, so I apologize. Obviously, terrible timing for that, being that this is really gearing up to be a really entertaining episode with hopefully a lot of interaction. So hopefully the connection here in the basement can maintain and we can get through this here. But Christopher Alphaby is going to set the tone here with the chats. Yeah, that's the feeling. I don't know if it's necessarily like a woo. It's more like a ooh, right? It's like, oh, okay, we made it in. Thank goodness we made it in, because things got really sketchy there at the end. A 95th minute goal for RSL to beat Sporting Kansas City, which means if LA Galaxy had found a goal there at the end, Minnesota would have been knocked out of the playoffs, but the Galaxy can't, and it's actually them who get knocked out of the playoffs. Christopher says RSL made that way better, seeing the Galaxy fall. Yes, it is nice seeing the Galaxy miss the playoffs for the 4th time in 5 years. But that RSL goal also made it very sketchy down the stretch for Minnesota United too. Should they have conceded in the last few minutes there, they would not have made the playoffs. We'd be having a whole different conversation right now on Post Loons. But Minnesota United were able to hold off. They were able to weather the storm at the end. You get the draw and you get into the playoffs. And that is what we're going to talk about tonight on Post Loons. Thanks to our good friends over at 9th Street Soccer and Coffee. I'll tell you more about them in just a little bit. Thank you so much for everybody tuning into the stream right now. Really do appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get in to our 3 things. And as I am giving you my 3 things, go ahead and drop your things, your 1 thing, your 2 thing, your 3 things, just your overall takeaways and thoughts on the match tonight. I'll respond to those after I'm done with mine. But thing number 1, you're in. You are in. That's really all that matters at the end of the day. Was it a struggle? Yes. You played really well in stretches of this match. You also played very concerningly conservative in portions of this match, especially early on in the second half. But you did the job. You got 4 points in this last week, and it was enough to get you into the playoffs. And into the playoffs with, I wouldn't call it a favorable seed because you're going on the road, but playing Portland is so much different than playing Kansas City, Seattle, or Colorado. Those 3 teams have been on an absolutely next level in the Western Conference this season. You do not want to go on the road and play either one of those 3 teams. So solidifying the 5 seed specifically is huge because you're going to Portland. It's a team you haven't lost to the last 7 times you played them. It's a team you've beaten twice this year. You should be very confident. I am hugely confident going in to this first round playoff match in Portland. But the overarching theme, you're in the playoffs. That's where you're at. And that is really all that matters, despite it being such a struggle down the stretch. My second thing, you're peaking offensively at the absolute perfect time. We've heard Adrian Heath say it. He's been very frustrated about the lack of time he's been able to get from his front 4 together on the pitch. Franco Fragapane, Emmanuel Reynoso, Robin Lod, and Adrian Unu. Those guys, this is only their 7th start together on the pitch. And you can see that time together, the more they've gotten that over the last few weeks, just the better they become every single time out as a unit, right? They were excellent tonight. Those first 2 goals were really just excellent goals, and we'll get to them in just a little bit. But it just shows you that this front 4 is absolutely cooking right now, and it could not come at a more perfect time as you head into the playoffs. To me, Portland is ripe for the picking. And if you put the quality offensive performance you put together tonight and tighten things up defensively and in the goalkeeping, I think there's no reason to not believe that you're going to come out of Portland with a win and moving on to the playoffs. That's where I'm at. My third thing, kind of speaking of the goalkeeping issues, it has been a goalkeeping roller coaster over the last week or two for Tyler Miller. I said this on Twitter during the match. I said, this is the best, worst game I've seen Tyler Miller play. And it was true. He had some head scratching moments, not cutting off a cross in the box that led to an LA Galaxy goal. Not, the indecision has been very, very apparent with him. Hesitation has really, really cost him big time over the last couple weeks. When, over the course of the season, over the larger course of the season, he has been so good for Minnesota. I mean, statistically having the best season of any goalkeeper Minnesota United's had. That includes Vito Mannone. But he's had some issues over the last couple weeks. That is concerning heading into the playoffs. The offense has been doing great. The front four has been fantastic. But it's been the goalkeeping that has been a little gone a little astray for Minnesota United. They've been blessed with good goalkeeping, since 2019. Vito Mannone, Dane St. Clair, Tyler Miller. But we have seen the wheels start to loosen up a little bit there over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully with this 2-week break heading into the playoffs, again, I don't know the exact date. I don't even know if that's been determined yet in terms of when Minnesota United and Portland are going to play. Hopefully we can do whatever needs to happen to get Tyler Miller back to, full form, full head in it. That needs to be done over the next couple weeks because there really is no room for error in the playoffs. I'm confident with Minnesota heading into Portland, but if things don't tighten up from a goalkeeping standpoint, it could go the opposite direction. So those are my 3 things. Feel free to drop your 3 things in the chat as we move on, or just your overall takeaways, your thoughts, your overall just feelings after that. My palms were a little bit sweaty there at the end. My heart rate kicked up a lot after John Strong, just in the middle of the play, just comes up and says, "Oh my gosh, RSL has scored." My heart rate just went up like 200% at that moment. I'm sure everybody else's did too, because he was talking in the context that, LA Galaxy as it stands are out of the playoffs. But I was doing the math in my head. I'm like, wait a second. If the Galaxy get a goal here, Minnesota United's out. And he ended up saying that a few minutes later. It was not the way you want it to end in terms of it coming that close and being that close and LA having those chances down the stretch. But you got it done. You got the job done. That's all that really matters. But oh my goodness, was it sketchy down the stretch there? All right, as you guys are dropping those questions and comments into the chat, I'm going to go ahead and get into the game notes here. But actually, before I do that, need to shout out our good friends over at 9th Street Soccer and Coffee. They've been good supporters of us all season long. Cannot thank them enough for being the title sponsors here on Post Loons. If you haven't bought some of their Galazzo coffee blend with other good friends of the podcast, Dogwood Coffee, definitely go check that out. This is some good stuff. I have some. I've been drinking it for a week. I actually need to gear up and get another batch because I'm about to run out of what I have. It's that damn good. So go check that out. Follow them on Twitter at 9th Street MPLS. The link in bio is where you go there to get yourself some Galazzo coffee from 9th Street Soccer and Coffee. But if you want to play some pickup soccer, 9th Street is the prime place to do that in and around the Twin Cities. They're located in Northeast Minneapolis, 801 South 9th Street in Minneapolis. Pickup soccer is available no matter your age. $5 for one pickup session, or you can get an unlimited membership for $35. So you can, pay a $35 monthly membership and play as much pickup as you want over at 9th Street. They also have 40 plus and women's only pickup available as well. And you can also book the field for yourself. You can book a half a field. You can book a whole field. If you got a team that you want to get in there and get some indoor soccer time, if you just have a group of people and you want to get together and you want to make sure you have that field to yourself, you can book fields, but they are going fast, man. The weather is going to turn this week. You're going to see it. We had a great weekend, an amazing weekend. Got my Christmas lights up, got all the leaves raked, got all that done because I knew that this week the snow is coming, the cold's coming. It's happening. Winter is coming, guys. And you're not going to be able to go out and comfortably play outside every single weekend like we have been. So that indoor soccer space is going to be even more and more of a premium than it already is. So if you want to book a field over at 9th Street Soccer and Coffee, I suggest you do it like now. So go to 9thstreetmpls.com, follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at 9th Street MPLS. 9th Street Soccer and Coffee, great friends and great supporters of Post Loons. Can't thank them enough for their support of us. All right, let's get into the game notes here, and really just some high-level game notes as we move forward. 25th minute is where we're going to start, and that is when Minnesota United got on the board. As they hit a counterattack, they had numbers, met Nair with a perfectly timed pass to Unu, who was breaking behind the LA defense there. He slots it home, but initially this was called offside. But the very first replay that they showed, it was obvious that Unu was onside. And it was right away. There was no doubt about it. It was one of those, it needs to be clear and obvious. It was clear and obvious. They went to VAR. They correctly overturned the call, gave the goal, and Minnesota United is out in front, which is so crucial. When Minnesota United gets out in front early, I mean, this is we're not breaking any major news here that when a team gets out early, that's good for their prospects of winning the match. But for Minnesota United, it's been especially important. If they're able to get out on the front foot and get out early in the first half hour, the points have been there for them. And the results have been there for them. So really, really good goal too. Just springing a counter, really good pass, really good finish from Hunu. I mean, just kind of reiterating one of my things that I had at the beginning of this, that this front four is really, really cooking right now. And Adrian Hunu is definitely a part of that. 32nd minute, Cabral receives a pass in the box and pops it up for the volley. He gets a really good strike on the ball, but Miller's there to cover the near post with a great outstretched one-handed save. That's the good from Tyler Miller. We'll get to the bad in just a little bit, but he showed a few really, really good moments tonight as well. 35th minute, goal for Minnesota United to put them up 2-0. Following a Reynoso corner, Boxall tries to basically bicycle one toward goal. It deflects right to Robin Lod, who puts away the bunny and doubles the Loons lead. And we're off to the races here, right? I mean, good vibes, good feelings. I mean, all you need is a draw if you're Minnesota United to get in. So being up 2-0, that buffer is there and you start to relax. But I think Minnesota United started to relax on the field too. And you can't do this. You can't give up those late second half stoppage time or late first half stoppage time, first half goals, because those are huge momentum changers. And that came for the Galaxy as LA was on the attack this time. The ball was sent across the box. Miller couldn't cut it off. It was shown that one of the players was in an offside position who touched the ball, actually. So it should have been called offside. That may have been what pulled Miller out of position. But it leads to Sebastian Lletget on the other end, putting it away to give the Galaxy some life there, just heading into halftime. And 2-1 is your scoreline at the half. And then, like I said, late first half goals are momentum changers, but so are early second half goals. Like the final 5-10 minutes of the first half and the first 5-10 minutes of the second half. If you concede in either one of those, it's not great. But if you concede in both, you might be in trouble. 51st. It's Chicharito inside the box from Iroho. Wow. I know his name. I don't know why I was unable to say it. Iroho there. Can't give Chicharito space that close to goal. And he puts it away. We're level 2-2. And all of a sudden, you kind of feel the wheels start to come off a little bit. And the anxiety really kicks up a notch. 54th minute, near disaster for the Loons, almost giving up a third as Gasper and Miller collide. I don't know why Tyler Miller is going for it's Chase Gasper's all the way. It's not like this was deep in the box. This was right at the top of the 18. Both guys are going after this long ball. It's Gasper's, but Miller tries to come out and punch it. Gasper and Miller collide, and fortunately, the Galaxy are unable to take advantage of this loose ball and wide open net inside the box. And that's all thanks to big time clutch defending from Michael Boxall, getting in front, kind of holding up the play, allowing Miller to recover and get back into goal as well. So all credit to Boxall there to keeping things level there. Cabral in the 58th minute tries to cross over the head of Miller, but the goalkeeper is able to just get up and just get a fingertip on it, and that was enough. It did fall to Revolution for the Galaxy on the other end, but that fingertip on it just gave Miller enough time to recover. It kind of changed the trajectory of the ball a little bit, so it wasn't exactly a clear shot on goal, and he was able to kind of recover, save the shot from Revolution there on the other end. So you stay level there, and then in the 61st, you are gift wrapped the lead as an own goal from the Galaxy after a good counter attack from the Loons. Unu finds the ball at his feet deep in the box and tries a centering cross, deflects off the head of Araujo and in the back of the net. Minnesota leads. 14 minutes later, though, LA pulls even again. And this is where we officially reached kind of absolute chaos in this match. I tweeted after this, like, MLS is drunk was in full effect here. Crossover Miller's head. It gets centered by Chicharito, or gets centered to Chicharito, I should say. His first shot is deflected. And after the deflection, he's actually calling for a handball. He actually made a gesture. And as he's doing that, the ball comes right back towards him. I mean, he's so good. He can just kind of change his focus like that. And he does, puts the ball in the back of the net. And that's where we hit a 3-3 tie at that point. That levels the match at 3-3. But you're still okay if you're Minnesota United. You're still in the 5 spot. The way the results were going, you could lose and still make the playoffs. And we will get to how that changed in just a minute. 77th, Loons right back on the offensive. Metnair finds a wide open Dotson at the top of the 18, but the shot's denied. Minnesota keeps possession, and Reynoso tries his luck, and a deflection puts it out for a corner. 87th minute, Fragapane deep in the box with the ball. He tries a shot to the far corner of the goal, but it hits off an elbow of an LA Galaxy defender. Referee blows for a handball and a penalty for the Loons. And for the life of me, I do not know. I'm screaming at the TV, guys. I do not know why Emmanuel Reynoso is not taking this PK. I do not know why no discredit to Fragapane. He has, he's fully capable of a penalty kick. But you see how confident Reynoso is at the spot. You see, with the Pineda, like the type of quality he can bring you. And he's, unlike a lot of Loons, he has had experience at the spot this season. So you're going to put a guy, Franco Fragapane, who has not taken a penalty kick since coming over to the States, out there in that kind of spot to solidify your playoff positioning? That's not a great decision. I don't know who made that decision. If it was Heath, if it was Reynoso giving it up, it was Fragapane saying, no, I want this. It should have been Reynoso. 157.999%. But it's Fragapane, and his PK, you probably guessed it, goes off the outside of the post, and the match remains level. And then things go absolutely sideways when John Strong, just in the middle of calling the match, just breaks in and says, RSL has scored. And all of a sudden, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it, because the hair stood up on the back of my neck. Because I'm thinking, oh no. And John Strong's talking about how that affects the Galaxy, and how that, with this scoreline 3-3, with that RSL goal, they are in and LA's out. But doing the math and looking at the table, that also means with 6 minutes of stoppage time, if the Galaxy find a goal, Minnesota's out. So now all of a sudden, you're a conceded goal away from missing out on the playoffs. And that's why that PK decision is so baffling to me, because literally your playoff hopes could have hung in the balance on that penalty kick. And you don't put your best PK taker at the spot? I don't understand that. But anyways, that's where things got absolutely crazy. Because as this is happening, as we find out that Minnesota United, if they give up a goal, they're done. LA is just all out attack, right? Because they need to score to get into the playoffs. So they don't score, they're done. So they're all out attack, full on desperation mode. Loons fully on the back foot. And there were 3 or 4 good chances for LA that Tyler Miller needed to come up with saves in order to save Minnesota United's season. Luckily he did. And luckily the final whistle blew, and it was 3-3, and Minnesota United's going to the playoffs. But oh my goodness, things got far more nerve-wracking than they needed to, in my opinion, there at the end. But that's what happens. That's what decision day brings you. When you don't necessarily do your job to make sure that decision day doesn't impact your playoff standing, that's the type of thing that can give us the feeling that we felt over those last 6 minutes. Just absolute white knuckle stuff right there. Sarge is in the chat. He says no Texas team, no California team. Crazy. Yes. It was almost no Canadian team either. But Vancouver was able to level up with with Seattle. So Vancouver will be going to the playoffs as well. Congratulations to them. And Sarge also says, regardless of a handball, Fragapane needs to keep playing and not stop until the call is made. There were a couple times where Minnesota United stopped playing in the run of play over this match, and it could have cost them. Luckily, it didn't. Luckily, it's Minnesota United 3, LA Galaxy 3, and Minnesota United's going to the playoffs in the 5 spot, which is as good as you could possibly ask for. Because you weren't going to host a playoff game. The top 4 had already been solidified in terms of who's making the top 4. So the best you could ask for is the 5 spot. You get the draw, you get the 5 spot. All is well that ends well. But obviously, it was a very, very nerve-wracking road to that. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes, guys, or I'm going to stick around as long as the questions and comments keep flooding in. So if you're on Twitter right now and you want to leave a question or comment, you're going to have to do that over on our YouTube channel. So just get out of Twitter, go to YouTube, look up Post Loons, look up 10,000 pitches. You'll find us there. Drop your question or comment in the chat there. If you're watching on Twitter, give us a like and a retweet. If you are watching on YouTube, obviously drop your questions and comments in the chat, but also give us a thumbs up on the stream as well. I can't thank you guys enough for sticking with me all season long. There have been a lot of times where I've been doing this solo and I've been solely focusing or relying on the chat and the comments and the questions that we're getting on the stream here. And I really, really appreciate that interaction. So, if you guys have any more questions or comments or takeaways, hot takes, playoff predictions, feel free to drop those in the chat. I'll be happy to respond to those. It's going to be either the 20th, the 21st, or the 23rd for Minnesota United. Maybe you guys can help me out in the chat if we've gotten any sort of schedule yet in terms of when Minnesota United's going to play. Because it's going to be at Portland. We know that, but it's whether it's Saturday, Sunday, or Tuesday of not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. Hopefully it's not Saturday the 20th because I am in a wedding that day. So it could be the 21st, it could be the 23rd. I don't care. Just not the 20th. Please, Minnesota, not the 20th. Please, Portland, not the 20th. I would like to watch Minnesota United in the playoffs if I could. But yeah, that's what's on tap, guys. And that is, we're fortunate to have a team going to the playoffs for a third straight year. That is a really good accomplishment, I think, for Minnesota United. But this roster is constructed to do more. The 5 spot in the grand scheme of things, not that disappointing. You start out 0-4. You're the first team, I think, in 22 years to make the playoffs after starting with 4 losses, starting 0-4. That's history. That's good. That's a good recovery. You've played well in stretches this year. You've also played concerningly inconsistently bad in a lot of stretches this year. So who is the team we're going to see in Portland in 2 weeks? I'm leaning towards the good because of the way this front 4 is playing together. And you get Ozzie Alonso back, and you have your full, healthy 11, presumably. Let's all just kind of get in the prayer circle right now and hope that nobody picks up anything in the next 2 weeks in training. Because if you are going to beat Portland, if you're going to move in further into the playoffs, you have to be at full strength. You have to be at full health. I have said this on the show for 2 months now. There is one scenario where Minnesota United have full potential to make a deep run and even maybe win the whole damn thing. But in order to do that, they have to be fully healthy. They do not have the quality and depth to withstand any injuries at this point. They don't. So you need to be fully healthy. So whatever you have to do to make sure you're taking the field in Portland with a fully healthy starting 11 and Ethan Finley and Hassani Dotson also healthy. Those are the 2 guys. 13 guys. You just need 13 guys healthy. You need the starting 11, Finley, and Dotson. And everybody else, sorry. Fernando Adi, I know you're getting playing time. I get it. But you're not necessarily needed at this juncture. Those are the 13 guys who are needed. If they're healthy, Minnesota United have a damn good shot. If they're not, it's not such a damn good shot anymore. All right, guys, if there are no more questions or comments, that will do it for Post Loons. Thank you so much for tuning in all season. Thank you so much to 9th Street Soccer and Coffee. And oh, yes, we will be back for more Post Loons when the playoffs hit 2 weeks away. I almost said 2 weeks from today. I hope it's 2 weeks from today. I hope it's the 21st. It's either going to be Saturday the 20th, Sunday the 21st, or Tuesday the 23rd. And yes, there is going to be a second round MLS playoff match on Thanksgiving Day. So there's a chance Minnesota United could play on Thanksgiving Day as well. But until then, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate all the support. I can't thank you enough for sticking with me all season long. This has been so much fun, and obviously will continue to be even more fun as we move into the playoffs. My name is Jeremy Rushing. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeremy G. Rushing. 10,000 Pitches podcast drops every Friday. Look that up wherever you get your podcasts. Also the same feed. You can find the podcast version of Post Loons. You can follow 10,000 Pitches on Twitter at 10K Pitches. Really appreciate it again, guys. Thank you so much. Go Loons as we head into the playoffs. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Bye.